I'm going to title this video, and try to make it as short as possible. I want to title it More Than a Cow. I made a video, I guess maybe Wednesday, about Sissy the cow that is a fallen cow. 1 week ago today, I'd come back on our trip and I realized something was wrong with her. And so that was last Saturday. And then by Sunday, I had a rancher out here looking at her and gave her a shot. And him and his wife come out and he's like, she's really bad. You're right. She's very sick. And he didn't give her any hope. He said, this will make her feel better. He just gave her a shot, like something for, like he said, it's like a strong aspirin. And so he said, when they get like this, they don't usually make it, you know. So, but by the next day, she was still down. So she was still, by the next day, she was down. And now she can't get up. Now she's laying there. She's trying hard. She's moaning, and I can't take it. She's suffering. So I got a hold of a vet, finally, to get a vet that come out here. And I finally got somebody out here, and he came out and he said, yeah. He goes, I don't really know what's wrong with her, but some various things could have to be. So he gave her some steroids. He gave her some antibiotic. He took some blood work. And he said, if this is going to work or help, she should be up in the morning. So let me know if she gets up. The next morning, she was not up. Not only she's not up, but she's already not drinking, not eating. And he said, just continue putting this water in front of her because she couldn't get up to drink. So I was down there every few hours. And I'm trying to get this cow to drink. I'm trying to get this cow. And it was not trying to save a cow. I was alleviating suffering. And I already knew what they were telling me. And so, I had 3 different professional people, you know, that ranch and also the veterinary, that were telling me these cows don't survive. I mean, there's a small chance, but they were all working with me, knowing I was emotionally attached to this cow and saw the effort I was putting in. But, they didn't want to just tell me, oh, you need to put her down. But that's kind of what they were saying. And so this went on day after day. And so this was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And she's still not eating or drinking. And so now her mouth is crusty. It's hard. You could tell she's kind of hungry at times, and she'd try to eat, it would just fall out of her mouth. But she couldn't get up. She'd try to get up, kept trying to get up. She was like so determined to get up. So I made the video about what do we do when we try to get up and we can't, and we keep falling down. And at some point in this thing, I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, this is more than a cow. I don't even think this is about saving the cow. It's not because I'm so emotionally attached to this cow. In fact, I was expecting every couple hours I thought she'd be dead. I'd look out the window. I could see from my porch. If I wasn't going down there, I could look down there, and if she wasn't moving, I'm like, okay, she's gone now. Okay, she's gone. And then I see her switch her tail. I'm like, this cow's not dying. And it's not because I had all this faith, God's going to kill this cow. But I was praying over her every day. I was down there, I was sitting down there with her and looking this cow in the eye and talking to her. And I was trying to alleviate her suffering. It's what it was. It wasn't like, oh, God's going to heal her. I didn't have that kind of faith. Oh, God's going to heal her. I didn't. But I was asking him to just take this cow. Just heal her or take her. I can't stand the suffering. And so everybody that I talked to knew that was in my heart. It wasn't like, oh, God's going to heal her. But I knew in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, God could heal her. God could heal her. But I just really I wasn't really taking that. But as I listened that last day, finally, I knew she was so bad. And so I talked to him, I guess it was Thursday night, and I knew I had to make a decision. And so I talked to the vet, and he said, well, I could come out tonight, but we got to bury her, because you need to bury her soon after she's passed on, because you don't want her to bloat and it's going to be hot. And so he said, I can try to arrange for somebody to do this, or if you have somebody in the backhoe. And I go, oh, my neighbor does. So I called my neighbor and talked to him. When I called him, he was in Denton eating. And he goes, well, I can't do it tonight. I could do it tomorrow night after work. So I called the vet, and so we made arrangements. Instead of him coming that night, on Thursday night, he said, I will come tomorrow night when I get off. And so we were going to put her down if she's still alive, because we kept thinking she's going to die, and put her down and bury her the same night. So I'm down there that Thursday night, and I'm making these arrangements while I'm looking at her, sitting right in front of her going, you need to come do this. I can't take it. She can't get up, and there's going to be a storm tonight. And so I knew it was going to storm. And I was just like, God, how bad can this be? And it's getting worse. And so I remember I said something to God in my mind. I wouldn't say it to God. I said to me, I was like, well, maybe God is, this thought came to my mind. What if God's just letting her be so bad that there's no way she can survive, and then he's going to heal her? And then we're going to know it's a miracle, because we know a miracle is only a miracle if it's impossible. Because you can say, oh, well, the medicine helped. Well, the shot helped. Well, we were past that. We were way past that. All these men, these 3 men I'm talking to, and there was actually a 4th one too I talked to. Nobody gave me hope for this cow. And the questions now is, how are we going to put her down, and how are we going to get this big old cow from down by the barn, way down the hill, to bury her? And so that was the question. But when I said that to myself, that thought, like, what if he's going, I was like, that's stupid. I just cast it aside. And I was getting up and I was walking up the hill to the house to go back up that night. We'd already made a decision. We couldn't put her down that night. I knew there was a storm coming. I said, God, I feel powerless. I said, I feel so hopeless. I feel powerless. I have no control in this situation. I cannot get this cow not to suffer. I'm powerless. I said, I don't know. Is what I'm teaching the truth? Is it true that we're kings and priests in the kingdom and all this stuff? I'm like, I don't even know. I don't want to just keep teaching people about this kingdom and who we are and the power we have and what is prayer? So I should be like, oh, if I have enough faith, it's going to heal, or is it going to be my faith? And all these things was going to my mind. And I realized this whole situation that week was not about the cow living. It was about me and my faith with God. And I realized I think I was almost the cow that has been struggling now for, if it's COVID and some things that's happened. I feel like I've been trying to get up, but I keep falling down. I get up and I fall down, and it's just like, get up and woo, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm in this struggle, and I thought I realized I was the cow, and so I knew it was more than the cow, and so I walked up the hill going, I don't get it. And I was so distraught. And so I went on up there, and then the storm hit. And it was such a terrible storm. And I'm up here in the house, and the rain is coming. I'm thinking, that cow's down there. Can't get out of the rain. Now it's going to start hailing. It's going to be in the hail. I'm like, this is hell. And I was tormented, right? And so we had the storm. And so the next morning, I thought, surely she didn't make it. So I got up at 6:30. I looked out the hill. I couldn't see her. And I thought, well, she's just laying flat now. I can't see her. And so, because her little head would stick up. But when I went down there, well, I didn't say this. The night before I made the calls with them, when I got home, the vet had called me and said, what do you mean do? And I said, well, let me get home from Mom's and see what condition she's in. And I don't even know why I said that. When I got home, she was worse. She was curled up. Her head now is like back. She wasn't sitting up where her ears could be seen. She was just wrapped up like fetal. And that was when I said, no, come do it. Come do this. And then that's when I was trying to make arrangements. Well, they couldn't do it that night, and put it off till Friday night. And so here I am. I go down there, and I was like, where is she? Well, over there in the barn, this cow had somehow in that storm managed to get herself out of the storm into the barn over here where there's an open place. And she was laying there with our other cow. We only have 2 cows now. And I'm thinking, how did you do this? But she's still curled up. I'm trying to put water. She will not drink. I put my mouth in her hand, my hand in her mouth with water, and it was hard and dry. She couldn't do it. She wouldn't even move, and she was at that place like, well, how are you alive? And how did you get over here? And so I'm like, oh, I can't even wait till tonight that they can get this cow. We're suffering. And so I went back up here to the house, and I came outside, and a little bit later, about an hour, maybe hour and a half later, I walked out on the porch. And I'm sitting out here right where I'm sitting right now. And I looked in our field. And it didn't register. And then all of a sudden it registered. Oh my God. Sissy the cow is standing in the field. Eating. Just eating grass, switching her tail. From death to life. Exactly what I said happened. There was no hope. It had to be a miracle. And I even said it in my video. I said that if it's not a miracle, I got to figure out how to bury this cow. Well, I saw a miracle. I watched her all day yesterday. I watched her lay down thinking, is she going to get back up? Just get up like no problem. This cow didn't just get better. She didn't like, oh, she started getting better. She started drinking, eating, finally getting up. No, she went from laying there in a curled up, not eating, not drinking for days, to standing outside in the field with the other cow like nothing ever happened. Well, guys, this has never been just about Sissy the cow. God did a miracle for Pam. He did it for my mother, too, that's been on this, because Mama got healed and then, got out of the hospital, and then all of a sudden she's been sick now for weeks. We don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out. And we've all been I've been trying to figure that out. And yesterday, when I tell her, she's laughing, she's crying, we both are. And she said, well, you know what? I went and seen her a little later on the day, and she was up. She was better. Mama was up. Her spirits were better. And she's like, you know what? If he can heal that cow, he can heal me, Pam. And I said, yeah, Mama. If he can heal that cow, he can raise her up. He can raise you up. If he can raise that cow up, he can raise me up. He just did it for me. He did it for her. It's not about a cow, guys. It's sometimes he just has to show himself personal. He just shows up, shows out. I said, I'm aware. If you just get through the messy middle, there can be a happy ending. And guys, I don't know how long this cow's going to live. It ain't about that cow. I saw a miracle. If I ever saw one, I've never seen that like that. No, it really even seems to cheapen this to even try to tell it, because you weren't there. It's my miracle, but I want to share it with you. Just had to share it.